What is going on, everybody? 2Bob29 back in the lounge yet again. Make sure to kick back, relax, and grab some snacks because today it is time for volume 17 of the Round Table podcast. And we have a lot to talk about. First up, let's go ahead and introduce everybody. Make sure that you get used to their voices. Make sure that you get used to what they're all saying and where they're all from, just so that you know the perspectives that you're hearing today. So, first up with me, the pizza legend himself, because specifically Sensei Kreese is not joining in for us today. We went over everybody's favorite pizza picks on the day. Mine happens to be the plainest one that you could possibly imagine, but you gotta love it because his is always and ever changing. It is the man, the myth, the legend, the representation of the riffraff himself, Mr. B-Rock Gaming. B-Rock, talk to me, brother. How you doing?
What's happening to Bob? Not a full-time job here. First off, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially Kitsu Shell. You know, my favorite person in this game. So I want to say Happy Mother's Day out there to all the mothers.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, ladies, watch out. B-Rock is not single, but he might be for an afternoon. Next up with me, his partner in crime, part co-leader of the Not a Full-Time Job crew, and someone that has been teasing B-Rock that he might be leaving them just to join TNM. That's not a real rumor. I just made it up just now. It is Chris B. Chris, talk to me. What's up, brother?
How's it going, too, Bob? Unfortunately for B-Rock, it's not a rumor.
Good to have you here, Chris. Always thrilled when you're on the pod. Also got with me the one and only, the lovable Miss Kitsu Shell. She is having a fantastic day, as far as I know. Shell, how is it going this weekend?
Going pretty well. Kitsu Shell here from the new ministry, and I'm here with pineapple on pizza supremacy.
Ugh. Oh yeah, Chris, what's your pizza of choice for the listeners at home out there?
My pizza choice, I'm a sausage pepperoni guy. All you people who put pineapple or mushrooms on your pizza are wrong.
See, this is where the podcast already gets derailed. Chris has a gross pizza. Shell's got a gross pizza. B-Rock has a gross pizza. I didn't tell him that before we started recording, but it's the facts. You know who else has a gross pizza? The man at the end of our introductions here. He just wants nothing but the meat, as he said himself. It is the one, the only Southside Envy. Envy, talk to me.
Southside Envy from the new ministry, and I like my pizza like I like mouths, open deep and wide. So let's go with this week's Warrior of the Week, who is, I appreciate all the warriors out there laying out, because my guy, Davey D, is the Warrior of the Week. And let's just say I sent him the link to last week's podcast, let him listen, and I'll tell you, me and Bob touched the D.
Please, nobody think that what you're thinking right now. That is not at all what happened. We did make a mention of Davey on last podcast. I would love to go ahead and mention him again on this one. Davey's just a fantastic person. Helped kind of shape and mold who I've wanted to become as a content creator. Tremendously so. Love the new moniker that he's rocking, the Kingmaker, because it is the truth. And yeah, Davey stopped on by last podcast to listen on through. So huge shout out to you, Davey, and Envy. Massive shout out to you for just out of nowhere sharing the link to the podcast, which is super awesome. But yeah, that's our introductions for today. We do have a lot to talk about, like I was mentioning, so we're gonna go ahead and hop right on into it. Let's just go ahead and let's talk about it. There's an elephant in the room, and it is a VIP elephant, to put it kindly. There were 2 revamps towards the end of last month, and both of the VIP characters got revamped. DX Triple H and DX Shawn, the $20 a month and $50 a month characters, got revamped in the game. Both of them very, very strong. Apparently, Shawn was too strong, and instead of actually listening to anybody's feedback, instead of actually changing the characters themselves, they decided to nerf the DX Army invasion moment, which impacts players that use DX Army Triple H. Which, according to them, there's not too many of those players, which, fine. According to me and the people that I talk to on a daily basis and the players that play the game, people are not really thrilled with the nerf. For those of you that don't know exactly what it was, the X-Break gems doing more damage went from an additional 1,500% down to 300%, and then they proceeded to leave the VIP characters as their revamps were intended, which is very silly to me because the revamped characters still do obscene damage as is. So I don't understand why the nerf, other than for just trying to get people who use DX Army Triple H upset. But nevertheless, curious thoughts on the character revamps. Is it strong enough to make you want to subscribe to the subs? Is it strong enough to make you consider subscribing to the subs? Are you even impacted by the moment nerf if you don't have these characters? Were you using DX Army Triple H? Just want to kind of get that out of the way first and foremost, because I know that was a huge talking point in very, very recent history.
I'll jump in first and be the person that's like, it doesn't affect me. I don't subscribe to those characters,
Sure.
so I don't know how they've really been affected. And I'm sure there are other characters out there that will still do equal comparable damage. So, but I'm not a big DX Army Triple H user, but I do think, like, after hearing what other people have been saying, that it's kind of a shitty thing to do, to change a moment that affects multiple people as opposed to just fixing, the character that you have doing too much damage.
Yeah. Yeah, was not thrilled with that one. Anybody
For me,
else? Go on, Envy.
Oh, for me, the VIP was never about the characters that you get. It was more about the bonuses that you get. So, although I'm not subscribed to either one of those, it wouldn't make me want to use them. I already got powerful characters, so having a powerful DX Triple H and a DX HBK doesn't really do much for me. And making the moment worse just makes all the characters that weren't really that great anyway worse, that were within the game and available for people to use. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to even revamp the character to start with, but to revamp them to beat the champs tour every week easier. I don't know. I mean, I could beat it with King of Kings Triple H. So I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, the Triple H King of Kings, ever since they revamped him, has been just fine. There's never been an issue in winning a match with him ever since they gave him that very well deserved and needed revamp. So, and I don't know, I'm still kind of at a loss as to why they decided to revamp these characters, because I get that there's now a weekly champs reset tour thing, whatever that's called at this point. But I mean, you could have won with them just fine, right? Like, if you're gonna be subscribed to either of those subscriptions for those characters, you probably have at least a decent tier 6 medal set at this point in the game. And a tier 6 medal set is just gonna win. That's all. You could literally have a 4-star subscription character or a 3-star subscription character, and you got a tier 6 medal set. and you win. That's all. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something in terms of why the revamp needed to happen, but I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss there. B-Rock, thoughts?
Oh, okay. So I know this portion of the podcast is sponsored by Dude Wipes because Scopely is shit for doing this. And they didn't do anything to me personally. They did it to the people who actually use those. I can't imagine spending $70 a month for two characters that I'm going to use once. That doesn't compute in my brain. But I will say this: when it first came out, I was half interested to try, just so I could try DX Sean. So before I got an opportunity to press the button to say, "Here, let me just do this so I can try him," they nerfed it and they saved me $20.
Okay.
That's literally all they did. They cost themselves $20.
So that's the outlook that we have on this is they cost themselves.
Pretty much. It just, sometimes I think there is a saying that goes around the community, Scopely be Scopelying, and that's pretty much what they did. It's like, hey, you did something that was okay, halfway decent, halfway intriguing. Let's not do that now. Let's mess something else up to try to fix something that didn't need to be fixed in the first place.
I can see that. I mean, that it's tough, man. And I don't think it's just that you think. I think it's everybody felt that way and thought that way. It's just, it's like they shot themselves in the foot. And I remember seeing, now that you mentioned it, I remember seeing on, I forget whose server, it might have been Professor's server, but there was like a half dozen people that were like, I was going to, and then I didn't. Or I did subscribe, and now they nerfed it, and now I want my money back. And that's never a good situation, to put it kindly. Chris, talk to me. VIP character revamps. Thoughts?
Well, I guess Scopely basically just doubled down on their stupidity, it feels like. First they put out, a character that they believed was way too strong. Although I will throw out there, I didn't have a problem with the original revamp. I mean, it's characters you have to pay for, and honestly, at this stage of the game, we have plenty of characters that can just do a crap ton of damage. So they weren't anything that could make an impact on, say, a roster like mine, or probably most of the rosters that are in this chat right now. But also, it's like, if you thought they did too much, just revamp them again. Lower them a little bit. But no, instead of doing that, Scopely doubles down and takes out the moment that affects all these other characters that have nothing to do with what's going on and aren't that powerful.
Yeah.
And it just makes me worried, like, if Scopely does, puts out a character they believe is too powerful again, are they going to do the same thing again, and start nerfing other moments? It's just annoying and frustrating by Scopely for what they've done. And like I said, it doesn't affect me too much, but there are people out there it did affect. And I'm sure there were quite a few people out there who saw, some of the original gameplay videos, spent $20 to try out Sean, and then they just got, basically screwed out of their money.
Yeah, I think so. My biggest takeaway on this personally was exactly what you just said, Chris, which is if they decide that they are like, hey, this is too strong, we need to adjust it, and they're gonna do it the way they want to, that's where my concern is. Because and both sides of your point here is exactly the point that I was making. They were not too strong. There's no such thing as too strong in this game right now. We literally had a stip tour that was like, hey, do as many billions of damage as you can do in one turn. Like, there's no such thing as too strong right now. Regal has been able to hit almost 1 billion damage for months. They came out with Uncle Howdy, who hits hundreds of millions of damage for months. This month they just came out with WCW Austin. With the right setup, you can hit 1 billion damage. Like, these characters that they're coming out with all hit absolutely crazy numbers. So I don't understand why they were under the impression that they were too strong when there's not only characters who are even stronger, but this is a subscription character, right? Like, if you have a collector out there, they're going to want to spend the $20 on Sean, for example, and want to hit, 200 million or 300 million, and that's okay too, because there's other characters that do that. Yeet Jey Uso can hit that on 2 buttons. Like, it's no problem. That exists already. But the idea that it was too strong, so we need to nerf it, and then we're not going to nerf them, we're going to nerf all the things that make them this strong, that's what I don't like, because they not only were not so strong, but Scopely was convinced they were, and so they had to make a change. No matter what anybody said, or felt, or spent, or any of that type of stuff. It was just like, well, here we go, we're making the change. It's like, that's kind of annoying. And then on top of that, it's like, well, we don't care about changing them, we care about changing the moment that makes them too strong. It's like, whoa, now you're messing with my stuff that doesn't impact my subscription characters. That impacts all my characters. Why do my other characters need to get worse because you made a revamp, in your own eyes, too good, when nobody else thought it was too good? And on top of that, why do you not want to get a consistent stream of income for a subscription character? If the other idea was this character is so good that you're never going to want to have to spend on another character again, not only is that so inaccurate, it's a wrong way of thinking. Because you would have gotten money from other players that were not currently spending on your game as is, let alone that much on a consistent basis as is, for this character. Or the players that are collectors will continue to spend on it because they want to have a good character on their account because they're a collector. There's nobody, like we all just said in this chat, that would spend on these characters because we already have enough 9-figure hitting characters on our account. Whether they're Attitude or Technician or anything else for that matter. We all have our 100 million hitters. So what did it matter that there was 2 more that were going to cost a consistent amount of money every single month? If you're afraid that I'm not going to spend on the new characters, why even bother coming out with new characters in the first place for the past year even? I've had characters from the 6-star silver meta carry into the 6-star gold just fine. Why did we come out with a single character since 6-star gold has come out? I don't need any of them. I could still use my 6-star silver characters that are good. I can use characters that weren't even good at 6-star silver that haven't ever been good because they've been revamped. Striker Austin is in my lineup right now in Feud. I don't understand the reasoning behind this whole thing and the resolution to the revamp. But I don't want to use the word scare because it's a game, but it gives me cause for concern moving forward that whenever they feel something is too strong, they can adjust it however they see fit. And this was a perfect example of how wrong that can go. That's the problem to me. And no, for the record, I would not feel inclined to subscribe to these characters from the revamps either. I don't like the nerf on the moment at all. I'm a moment chaser and collector. I just spent this past talent up taking up like 5 characters that are all absolutely dookie, just so I can max out the majority of the moments that I can. And at this point, I'm probably going to do that for every single one that I can, just so I can get the good use out of it until they decide to nerf it.
So, Bob,
What's up?
I'm so glad you said that because I completed my talent up at 2:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday.
Yep.
I had 10 minutes left
Yep.
because I literally did the exact same thing that you did.
Mm-hmm.
And taking Showboat Roddy Piper 6-star was, I said, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm doing this. And I have one moment left at 25, and I just can't evolve it, just in sheer principle, sheer undeniable principle of the fact that every character in that moment is
Is Dookie Cheeks.
complete and utter trash.
Is
And I'm sitting
it
here
safe
like,
to
I
assume
don't,
that it's the gimmick battle royal moment?
oh my, oh my God. I'm like, I haven't used these guys in like 2 years.
Mm-hmm. It's bad.
And now I have to take them 6-star, and I look, and I literally have one of them, which is Earthquake, is the only 6-star I have in the whole group.
Yep.
And that was because it was a fuse.
Yep.
They're not even 5-star. Most of them.
It's
Most
bad.
of them are. So I have to take some of these 3-star silvers. Some of these are 3-star silvers. I have to take them
It's
to
bad.
6.
So, for me, I'm looking at it right now on screen. Doink is worth it because he actually got a trainer upgrade a while ago, so that's fine. If
Never
you're,
use them.
If you're lucky to have Gooker, obviously Gooker is worth it for his
Don't
6
have
gold
him.
coaching ability. But once
Talk me into Sarge. Come on, talk me in to Trickster Sergeant Slaughter. Please.
there's one person here who might be able to talk you into Trickster Sarge because she took him up to 6-star the day that he got his trainer revamp. You there, Shell, by any chance?
Maybe.
Why don't you talk B-Rock into Trick Sarge to taking him 6-star bronze?
I mean, I took him up. Yeah. Row breaks do 50% more damage and generate 4 more. Yeah, let's go.
There you go.
You know,
Because
this
it's
is a
Shell, I'll
crazy
do.
concept, but you could just not and leave the moment there because it still sucks and they still suck.
Okay, but again, I am a completionist. So every moment I have is at 30. I do have to say that moment I took up both bushwhackers, but I took them both up to 6 broads in honor of Carl 04, who was a former faction mate and a good friend of mine who passed away, a couple years ago. And he was from New Zealand, so we called him Kiwi. And so
Yep.
yeah, so I took both those Kiwis up to 6 bronze for him. So I had most of them ready to go.
So we need Luke and Butch. What do you need? 4? Hold on, is it 4 or 5?
You need 5.
Oh my God, it's 5.
Yeah. So thankfully, Sarge has a decent, trainer.
Yep.
I took Luke and Butch. I have Doink, which I don't know what the hell why Doink was up there. But then I have Gooker at 6 gold.
Yeah, it's Sarge, Doink, Gooker, and then Shell took Bushwhackers. I'm probably going to take Iron Sheik and Earthquake just for funsies. Mainly because Phil and the faction, well, not in the faction, I think, nowadays, is determined to make Earthquake work. So when he does, I'll at least have my own Earthquake at 6-star. And then Sheik, because it's the Sheik, man. Not only does he have a 5-star gold training ability, but like Iron Sheik, bro. So yeah, there you go, B-Rock. That's your answer.
I don't know if I can do it. Like,
well,
I'm literally looking at Earthquake, and my Earthquake is 6-star gold, and it's 20,000 roster talent.
yeah.
Like, so what is that? Is that 4-star bronze?
No, that's 5
What's
silver.
20,000? 5 silver? Okay, but it's a 6-star gold character.
Yeah. There you go. You're kicking ass.
We'll never use it. Ever.
Well, we'll leave that topic there unless you got something to go for there.
I mean, I'm just saying you guys don't have to do this. No one is making
you. Well, I'm going to.
And Bob, this is why Chris and I work. This is why we work so well, because he's got sense, and he's like, you don't really have to do this.
Yeah,
he makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
He's got sense,
what?
And I've got dollars.
I'm probably still going to do it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I mean,
is
Bob-
do it anyway.
I mean, Bob makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take up all my moments because I want to be able to use characters at their max capability before they all eventually get nerfed, especially based on what just happened. Now, am I gonna ever use any of these characters in Feud? Probably not. But why not? I'm at a point where I have literally 3 moments that are not maxed, and that's one of them. The other one is the Ghostbuster moment, which I can never max because I just don't have the shards for it, and they're not bringing the license back. So that one's just a stinky, feels bad for me. And then the Kane and Undertaker tour moment. I'm only one away from maxing that one out, which I'll probably end up taking one of the promoters, just in case they ever give them, what is it, another increase? I think they maxed out at, it was like 5K, then 9K, then 21, or maybe it was just 9K and 21, but I'm expecting another increase to those at some point or another. So might as well take them up and get them ready for the inevitable. But that's it for me on moments. Anything else on our VIP character revamp talks before we move on to our next point? Because we do have a lot to talk about. Alright, let's talk about what's next, and that is the Zero Fear faction boss. It was the reveal of Penta, the Penta era, which is such a weird name in my opinion. And they even mentioned it in the blog afterwards. They're like, hey, due to trademark restrictions, we've chosen Penta era as his name, which, whatever. Stupid to me. Nevertheless, Penta era Penta is in the game. The new Penta plate is also in the game. He also has a nice, cool Royal Rumble gear. Makes him look super duper blue. Thoughts on his weekend, on it being a 1 weekend chance to get Penta. His shards have been available since then. I'm assuming they will continue to be available afterwards. Thoughts on the plate, thoughts on him, thoughts on the gear, thoughts on boss. Anyone want to take away the whole Penta everything weekend? Damn, no one likes Penta. Alright, I'll start. I like Penta. I thought he was fun. I thought he's good. I know a lot of people are saying that he's slow and he's not their cup of tea, and that he's not the 1 or 2 button killer that everybody wants him to be and all this type of stuff, but I think it's cool. I like the gimmick where it's like you have to hit a finisher to get into a moveset that also includes a stun and all these immobiles, and you force your opponent to swipe these trap gems or the juggernauts with the stun. Like, I like his gameplay. I think he's fun. I think the gear's cool. I don't know that it's necessary. You could still hit 9 figures without it. And the plate, to me, just feels like a fancy baddest Ronda's jacket, whatever that thing is called. So, all in all, I mean, Penta's fun. I've used him so far for a couple of showdowns where it's like, hey, you need to do this many hundreds of millions of damage or something with a character. And so I just set the board up with Penta's power gems and then tag out, and then I swipe for like 140 million. I think he's fun. Think he's cool. Boss competition, you know, I know everyone's going to talk about Boss because that's just the way it is. But Boss was Boss, at least for me. It was pretty straightforward. No biggie to me. Multi-gems, blue gems, leech gems. Yet again, when there's no minus juggernauts, Zombie Ray reigns supreme during blue gem boss. So that was fun.
For
I guess
me,
I'll go next. I found it. Excuse me. I found it to be. I don't know. It was a pretty normal faction boss weekend. Really wasn't anything that stood out to me, but that also could have been just because I don't care about Penta. I'm probably in the minority for this, but Penta does nothing to me. I didn't feel a need to spend to try and get him. You know, it was just a pretty normal weekend for me for faction boss.
So the plain old for Chris. All right, fair deal. Envy?
oh, for me, I like to see that JD McDonough was actually useful again for a little bit when you want to in the fashion ball. So that was nice to see. I was like, oh, he does have some moves that can make blues, and he ain't gender, but I mean, you know,
Right, but
he
who
did.
is, right? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, when you take the strap off, when you take the top line off, I mean, I guess these other people can do some work when gender ain't around. But Penta, I feel like as long as there's no haters out there with the anti-stun strap, Penta's all the fun. I got him. I did what it took to have him. It didn't cost me an arm and a leg, just a little bit of blood. But I got him, and I feel good about it. And I like his hot tag. I mean, it takes a little longer than John Cena, but tag in, you get all the multipliers on the board, and should you have them loaded, you can just close them out with that. So I like that.
Yeah, I think Cena's the only one with a -3 turn on the tag, so I think that's like a fancy feature of his compared to everyone else. Seems like they only have a 2. But definitely strong. I do like the hot tag too. Very, very strong concept they've added to the game of hot tags. Shell, Penta weekend, faction boss.
As someone who loves Faction Boss, it was a fine weekend. It was all good. You know, I was sad, obviously, as usual. I had to work during the weekend one when I have cards that could help carry, but yeah, did my best when I could fit it in here and there. Penta's cool. I like Penta. I got him. Got his plate. Got his gear. Nothing roster breaking, obviously, for me, because, you know, I still will prefer to use Jacob. I love
Sure.
Jacob.
Yeah.
But no, it was a pretty good weekend overall. Wasn't mad at it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've used Penta. I don't even think I noticed that Penta has a hot tag, so thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, it's a good one. It essentially floods the board with multi gems, which is it's really good, honestly. But yeah, I mean, look, Penta was good. I enjoyed the weekend for what it was worth too. The prize wall was pretty kick ass. Not only did I walk away with his gear, but I also walked away with another Punk gauntlets. So I was pretty thrilled with that myself. B-Rock, talk to me. Penta weekend, faction boss.
Yeah.
Eh. Is that the feedback?
I gotta tell you, like, Penta just got to WWE.
Yeah.
I know there's hype in regards to him. But overall, it's one of those situations where I have no brand loyalty to Penta. So it was,
Brand loyalty.
I get him, I
Okay.
get him.
What does brand
You know,
loyalty mean?
he's not a character that I can associate with to want.
Okay. Why?
So, perfect example. You know, I'm all my Jey Usos are 6-star gold right now. All my
Yes.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboats are 6-star gold. All of my KOs are 6-star gold. So there's certain characters or certain champs that I have that I like. He's not been around long enough for me to say, "Oh my god, I want to have him." Nah. Plus, his moveset's not really doesn't really fit my overall play style. And I have Cena. My acros. I have Cena. I have Jacob. I have Snoop. I don't need Penta. Penta's not. He's not something that I need or I have anything to go out of my way to get. So, like I said, it was just eh. Now I
Okay.
will say this: I did take his his plate, and his plate's going right on Shredder.
Interesting. On Shredder.
Uh-huh. And that's kind of where I think I'm putting his plate. From there, I'll be okay. I think that's going to be the best part of Penta for me.
It's the plate.
Is the plate.
Wow. See, I'm exactly opposite. That was the one thing that I did not get. I actually went with another Punk Gauntlets over the plate because I just felt like the plate was not that good. It just felt like a fancier, baddest jacket to me, and kind of like what was it? The glowing fate plate, whatever that one is for Naomi. That it was just the 200% green. Like, I feel like that was gonna come around again. It did. I feel like the same for the Pentaplate. But the Punk Gauntlets were not really cheap ever. And so I went with the Punk Gauntlets instead. But
Yeah, that reminds me. That was my top reward for the faction, was getting the plate instead of the heavy coinage for the prize wall, and I was highly disappointed.
so B-Rock, I'm looking at this here. Why are we putting this plate on Shredder?
Well, Shredder's got with the moment, he's got that very large sub,
Yeah.
and then you get the bonus of the black gems behind it.
Yeah, but
He's the only.
where are we making black gems? He's making purple gems.
Hold on. Give me a second. Now you got me to go look.
Too, Bob, you're talking to a man who just told you all of his Jey Usos, all of his KOs, and all of his steamboats are at 6-star gold. Does this really surprise you?
Yeah, but I want to make sure he's not wasting his plate moves on a guy that doesn't make black gems, you know? I'm still a nice guy at the end of the day, Chris, alright? I know people don't believe it, but I am.
I'm just saying you shouldn't be surprised.
No, not at all. Alright, well, while B-Rock gets out his glasses to see what he was looking at.
No, yeah. It's black, purple. It's black, purple, black. That you turn the bottom 4 rows into multi.
Yeah.
Strength of 7 after the sub if it gets that far, and then you just basically break black gems.
You're just making like 3
If not-
matches?
Yeah, just make 1-3 match and it's over.
You're gonna have to show me this one, buddy. So the
Alright.
sub, the bottom 4 rows into multis, and then you're just picking up black gems if they're in the bottom 4 rows.
And if they're not, you run the purple, reload the sub, and do it again.
Oh, brother. Okay. All right, you and I are gonna have a talk here. Clearly. Well, that'll be it.
He's the only one that has a really good black sub, so he doesn't need a plate.
Yeah, but you don't need a black
That's where I'm
sub
stuck.
for the plate, right? You need black gems. That's all.
No, you need. Hold on, wait a minute. Because I thought the plate said 6 black subs.
No, it's
Uh-uh.
no.
It's just you have to do the sub, and then it increases black gems.
Oh, I thought it was black sub for black gems. All right.
Oh,
This is what currently resides in the penthouse. This game has fallen off a cliff. Yeah, all right, there, Sensei.
See, and
Got you.
that's why I'm not in. Wait a minute. That's not why I'm even in the penthouse. See, that's why I'm down here with the riffraff. I can make mistakes.
All right, yeah, we definitely need to have a talk about where we're putting this plate for you, B-Rock.
Oh no, because I literally thought it said black sub.
Oh god. Well.
Oh shit! It does say just regular. Fuck.
There you go, y'all. We live and we learn on the Roundtable Podcast. Anything else on Penta Weekend?
Wow. And I cussed. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I'm not gonna remember to cut that out of the editing. So, welcome to the Roundtable, y'all. yeah, Punk Gauntlets on Powerhouse Hogan, right? All right, let's carry this bad boy forward. Oh my god. So
I'm really upset right now.
Oh man.
Reading is fundamental, everybody.
And fun. Yeah, NWO Big Show drip plate. Yeah, shout out Big Show. I remember that one. That one was great. All right, so that was the end of our Penta portion, and now for the end of the Mania MLC. I think we were talking about it a little bit in chat right before the recording went live. But Mania month is over. All of the special things that we got for Mania month are behind us, and the new month has began. So we could talk about these as one point. You could talk about them as two separate points. Doesn't matter to me. Maybe. But curious what everyone's thoughts are now that Mania month is over. There was the whole weekly stuff and the showdown event that we had, which was super easy to max because it was Mania weekend. Did you feel like this Mania month was something that you wanted to see moving forward? Did you like the weekly structure in terms of the weekly prize walls and the weekly events instead of there being like the random couple a day events, things like that? Like, curious what everybody's thoughts are on the monthly, right? So the monthly of Mania no longer being here. And if you want, we can talk about the new monthly now that we know that it's not going to be a regular thing with weekly prize walls. We have the return of the MLC structure. So curious what everybody's thoughts are in those terms.
Well, in regards to the prize wall, I believe I said it 2 weeks ago on this podcast that the weekly prize wall was something that I had not seen anyone complain about.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mostly positive. So, of course, we were going to go back to the way it was before this month, which we did. And it just seems so lackluster. Like, especially after coming off that great prize wall we had. I really, really loved that weekly prize wall because it gave you more options.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're stuck with the same stagnant few throughout the month. Yeah, okay, granted, for some people, probably a great prize wall with things that they can use and things that are beneficial to them. But for a roster like mine, it's really, like it wasn't really worth spending $100 to get the discounted prize wall for me this month, anyway.
Right.
But I liked WrestleMania month. I thought overall, it was definitely a win.
Yeah, this month's prize wall, not too good looking. There's definitely a couple of things on the discount wall that are not on the regular wall, like Queen Nia Jack shards and OTC shards, things like that. But I don't know. Definitely feels like a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Anyone
I was a
else?
big fan of the weekly stuff. The
Yeah.
weekly prize walls were awesome. They were so much fun. Why would I shouldn't say this. Why would Scopely take that away from us? It's because they were fun. That's why they're gone, because we can't have fun things. I also liked the weekly contests. I thought they were a good addition. I honestly really liked the month overall. I thought it was a good month. And then Scopely should have kept some of that, should have kept like the weekly stuff in that. I thought that was a great addition for the month. And I'm kind of sad that it's gone now.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's for sure. It was a great set of prize walls. Honestly, the weeklies were great. I said this after the first week. That week one prize wall, I felt like I got more on that prize wall alone than I did an entire MLC prize wall. And then it only went up from there. For me personally, the value continued to decrease week after week in terms of like week one was the best weekly prize wall, then week two, then week three, then week four. That was also just a me thing, right? I saw some people that really liked week four. I saw some people that really liked week three. And again, to each their own. But yeah, week one, I felt like I had gotten more than my money's worth in terms of an entire month from a week one prize wall than I would an entire MLC prize wall. That there was enough value in that, again, with the half off starter pack, that it was justifiably better than any other MLC prize wall. So it was good. It was really, really good. The other thing that I liked too, right, about Mania Month, I liked the week-long contest. And I hope that I'm not alone in this, but my April month was super busy. For those of you that know, I work on taxes, and April month is the worst month in the world for people like me that work on taxes. So the idea that I could get all of my week's worth of stuff done on, a day of Wednesday or Thursday or something like that was great, instead of needing to feel the requirement of like, okay, log in Monday for 2 hours, log in Tuesday for an hour, log in Wednesday for 2 hours, log in Thursday for another hour. Like, it was way more enjoyable for me to be able to just say, all right, I'm logging in on Thursday, I'm getting all my junk done in like 3 hours that I sit down, but it's my entire week's worth of content here. Boom, 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 done with all of it, moving on, type of thing. And I liked that, personally. I liked the idea that it was a play at my own pace week instead of a play at my own pace day. So I liked the prize walls. I liked the event structure. I was a fan of the month all in all. I felt like this was finally a successful Mania month. And I think Big Show also mentioned it in the chat here, in the live chat, that it felt more like an anniversary month that a lot of other games do. That made a lot of things readily available if you just played the game, and maybe if you spent a very minor amount compared to needing to spend, insane amounts. And yeah, shout out to Sensei for getting his first eat plate there too. But Mania month was, to me, was good. I liked it. Anybody else on Mania month?
I do just want to second what you said real quick too, Bob. Just that I agree with you. The prize walls were like, they started off the best and slowly got a little bit worse. But even as they went on, there was still something on every prize wall that was good. I think the last one was the only one that was nothing like amazing for my roster.
To me, even when there was nothing great, the coin and TP and all the resource bundles, like, that alone was great. That alone was more than an entire monthly's worth of resources. So even in the worst of worst months, I'd be walking away with crazy resources. So there was never a miss for me on that month. Envy, Mania month. Talk to me.
If it was the game's intent to make Mania Month special, then it proves that they do know what the players do want. So, and unfortunately, they didn't do that every year. So this year seemed to be like they really tapped into what we wanted, and everybody was really excited about the things that were going on, and we're hoping that that was the way the game was going all the way. So it took you to a big high to then take you to this month to back to normal. I thought we were changing things, type of thing. So, wow, in the moment you thought, oh, this is a movement in the right direction. We're changing. We're getting all these great stuff, and my pockets are gonna be empty after 2 or 3 months. Now it's, oh well, hey, at least you got your hand on my pocket, because it was getting crazy there for a while there. So there's that. But yeah, the month was great. The first week prize wall sold me, got me locked in, and like you said, it kind of progressively got worse. And I can understand that, because if you saved up the coins from the weekly thing, you could have bought more prize wall, and by the end, you would have had a good amount that you could have used on another prize wall. But at that point, it was kind of worthless to me. So it was a great month. I liked it. I got a lot of cool stuff out the prize wall. Got a cool stuff out of armory. Got a lot of cool stuff out the loots. Got a lot of cool stuff, and it only cost me maybe a few payments to things that I could have cost me a vacation, probably. So I probably could have went somewhere, but no, I played the game. So
I probably could have went somewhere, but no, I played the game. There you go, Scopely. That's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for people to cancel their vacation and spend it on you instead.
we haven't canceled Christmas yet. Just this summer vacay. It's fine.
No, I love how it's not that we're not going to cancel Christmas. It's we haven't canceled Christmas yet. Man. Well, anybody else on their Mania thoughts? B-Rock, Mania thoughts? It's over. MLC's gone. Weekly prize wall's gone. Anything on Mania before we move on to our new MLC?
So this portion of the podcast is sponsored by Ginkgo biloba.
Oh, okay.
And that is the memory drug, because Scopely wants to remind us all that they're a bunch of assholes, and they purposely do shit to give us something great and then take it away. They want us to remember how petty they are, that they give us something and then say, yeah, that's just a little taste. That's like going out on a first date and she kisses you and then she never calls you back. That's literally what this feels like. Because at this point in time, you dangled something and that I have not heard anybody complain about last month. I've not heard one person say, oh my God, I hated last month. Nobody said it. It was great. They did do some things that last month that I was a little irked with, because I was 40 shards away from the time is now Cena, and they didn't bring back any shards the last 2 weeks, it looked like. But that's fine. You gave us shards this month to make up for it. Cool. Got it. But it's like, don't give us something that we've been wanting and then turn around and take it away. And say, yeah, yeah, that's just going to be an anniversary thing. So now we got to wait in a whole nother year. You know, are we married now? Is this what this is? We got to wait a year to get it again? So at this point, you know, it was really, really good and well done. Just hopefully we don't have to wait another year to have a very decent month like that. Prize walls were great. I got something every week. So I think that, I think they have the ability. Now it's just a want to. It's a will over skill issue.
Okay. So, such a great month that you were upset she didn't call you again next week. Fair enough. Alrighty, y'all. Anything else on our Mania MLC being over before we move on to the new MLC of May Madness? Going once, going twice, and it's sold to the May Madness MLC. That is right. We have made it a full year with 6-star gold characters, and there is no new rarity. That one caught me off guard, that we ended up going a full year without a new rarity. The new MLC structure is back, and by the new one, I mean the old one, because like we've all just talked about, the Mania month is over, so there's no more weekly stuff, no more weekly prize hauls, no more week-long contests. And with the new structure, and we'll talk about the characters here shortly, but with the new structure also comes a new dynamic where week 1 is very different from a lot of the other weeks, and we have stipulation tours week 1, and there are daily stipulation tours with varying odd requirements. So in particular, this one today is pin them down and all gems. So you have to get the pin for, I think it's 1,000 points, and you have to destroy gems for 10 points a piece. So definitely an interesting one there. Also, there are some new changes in the May Monthly. They always like to talk about the new changes each and every month. But there are some bundles of 500 shards for a lot of like top tier characters throughout some contests. If you got the half off prize wall pack, the pro starter pack, like I was mentioning a little earlier, it has like OTC shards and Queen Nia Jax shards, where the regular prize wall does not. The straps and shards on the Armory prize wall, so the actual Armory prize wall, which replaced the month-long midweek prize wall. So for example, here's the 500-piece shard of Last Time Is Now Cena. There's also OTC shards in here. There's TNM Taker shards. There's Austin shards. So all that exists. And then at the bottom of the wall here, there are these Ultimate Modern Gem Damage straps, which it looks like... So there was no limit on these, and now it looks like there's a limit of 1 on these, which is a real shame. So that would have been really great to have been able to get more than once, but now that they're limit 1, anyway, these straps are no class requirement. So, for example, you can get a modern strap, 100, a 130, a 150, but it's limit 1 now instead of what was unlimited, which is kind of stinky, because people could have just gone ahead and bought a whole bunch of those early on. So we'll have to see what can be done about that. And there is no more 5-star prize wall anymore. If you look here, if you have Brutus, the Disciple, the freebie character, early, then you can go ahead and get his tour done each and every week. And depending on the tour, the week that you get the tour done in will give you the rewards of what used to be on the prize wall back then. So lots of stuff to talk about in terms of the new MLC, not just the characters themselves. So curious to hear what everybody's thoughts are on our new May Madness MLC. No more Mania month. We're back to the monthly stuff, and there's a good chunk of changes. At least I think so. Curious what everyone's thoughts are on those chunk of changes. Anybody want to go for it?
I like the straps. I like the one-turn stipulation tours. I don't like, well, I mean, I didn't care enough to have the promoter Brutus to the max level to try to leaderboard, but having to do something for one turn to get the armory loot to hopefully get me a universal strap so I can yeet it up with all my column break people. And that's enough for me to be motivated all month, so I'll be in it for that just so I can throw that yeet around. Yeet all over the place with the Manscaped plate on top.
The Manscaped plate on top. All right, sounds like a pretty straightforward monthly for you then, Envy.
Indeed.
Anybody else on our monthly? Got a good chunk to talk about, y'all.
I find it boring so far.
Okay.
I have like zero interest in any of these characters. Like, I can't help, like, I look at the Disciple and I'm like, wait, this is supposed to be Brutus? Like, I guess I was not watching WCW in that era or whatever, wherever this was. But I'm like, this is weird. And then someone in our faction had posted a manipulation with Bob's face on the Disciple. So now every time I see the Disciple in the game, I think of that image.
No, that was me on Boss Man. That was Dear You on Disciple.
I'm saying, so I saw someone had posted that picture of your face on Disciple, and now I can't not see it.
Sorry.
And it's ruining the game for me, Bob.
I'm sorry that my face is ruining the game for you, Shell.
You can't help it. I know.
I've only got one face that I'm born with. I can't change it.
Understandably. But yeah, I kind of bored with the characters, but I kind of like this weekly. So far this week, there's been a stipulation tour.
Yep.
Every day, and I've kind of liked that. I like that. I like that because it was giving you an opportunity to earn a lot of coins for the stipulation store.
Yep.
But then if you leaderboard it, you could get also armory loot coins.
Yep, coins and Austin shards, yeah.
Which was cool. I like that. That's it. Okay.
If I may.
Oh, Sensei, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. I'm finally home. I've been running around.
There you go. Welcome to the podcast, y'all. Sensei pulling up a chair.
The one thing that made me regret not getting the a starter pack for Brutus was the fact that I'm not able to leaderboard these stiff scores. I don't know how these people do it with the scores they're getting for like one turn and flash gems. I don't understand. But the first one, when it was the male damage, I finished 9th in the hell mode without having Brutus. I'm sure I would have been able to probably get top 3 or so. So I'm a little disappointed in that. But what I will say is that the last couple of months, it makes me happy when I see the opponents that Scope is putting up against the free characters. Like this month, it's the Ultimate Warrior, which if you remember your pro wrestling history, when Warrior was doing all those silly magic tricks against Hogan in WCW, he always abused the Disciple, so that's entertaining me. And last month, go back to last month real fast, the fact that they had Jesse Ventura go up against Hogan at every possible turn just brought a smile to my face.
So a little bit of wrestling history for some enjoyment for Mr. Sensei the past couple of months.
Yeah, that's all. And then, because anybody remembers when Ventura tried to get the wrestlers back in the day to unionize against McMahon, it was Hogan that ratted them out, and it took like a deposition like years later for the truth to come out, and that just made me so happy to smile when I saw that.
You gotta love it. Chris, talk to me. May Madness MLC.
Yeah, I think it's been a step down so far. I'm just not as interested in it. And it probably is because of the characters. Like, I kind of like we're getting a new boss man just because The only boss man we have is from like a million years ago, and he's terrible.
Oh, come
But
on!
I don't know who was like.
He just got a revamp on his entourage this weekend.
Yeah, he still sucks. But I don't know who was going over in WWE, who was going over like the list of people we could still put in this game, and was like settled on, yes, the disciple is who we need. I have no, that was just so random to me. Like, we don't need another version of Brutus Beefcake in here somewhere. I just feel like they probably know I want Kane, and I want a good Kane, and they're just like, we're never giving you a good Kane again, and it's very sad.
I heard something about the whole Kane thing that like because he's in politics now or something like that, that it's I don't know if it's a licensing thing or it's a difficult thing for them to like to get permission or something like that. I don't know exactly what the deal is with him. But I know you're not the only one to keep mentioning like, I'd really like a Kane type of thing. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss there, to be honest. I have no idea why we're doing the whole beefcake thing.
But it also seems random that we're now getting Alliance Steve Austin along with Corporate Big Boss Man and the Disciple. There's like no rhyme or reason to these people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they could have done like an Alliance month, go back through that, but I don't know. It's just weird. And it has turned me off a little bit from the MLC. Like, it's fine, but there's nothing that's really like hyping me up for this one.
Yeah. It's been interesting. B-Rock, thoughts on our MLC so far?
Okay. So Bob, I think it was either the first or second time I joined the podcast, and I kind of went on a small little rant about no matter what the month is, they are going to troll out Austin again.
Yep.
And they've done that just about every month. This is now our 10th Austin. 10th.
Is it?
And
it
he's
10?
been revamped. Yes, this is 10. This is our
Really?
10th Austin. He's been revamped. He's been given, I think Goat Becky's the only person who has more moments than he does.
Oh wow, yeah, look
He's
at
gotten
that.
a specialized moment that you could spend. They wanted you to spend $100 for. Can we get off of it? Can we get off of it? Can we please? Like I know that he is a Mount Rushmore guy for WWE. I understand it. He is a Mount Rushmore guy. But every month we need an Austin. We need something to do with Austin every month. And when I saw it, I was just like, okay. I have no problem with the Disciple. I have no problem with the Big Boss Man. They're not any of my favorites, but they're new. Okay? They're new. They're different. Then we get Austin. We're gonna get something else. We're gonna get like a Taker this month. They're gonna pop through with a new, I don't know. Well, let me rephrase that. We already got the revamp for Taker. So that Taker part is in there. Who is somebody else that they're going to troll out there that's the same character again? Watch, we'll get a powerhouse Seth Rollins or something like that. Will come through and has nothing to do with the rest of the month.
I just want to know, B-Rock, where was this energy last month when we got 3 more Cenas and 2 revamped Cenas? We got 14 Cenas in the game, bro. What happened then?
So the reason you didn't get it was because it was a specialized month that we all knew. It wasn't a surprise. It
Uh-huh.
was, hey, this is Cena month. This is a Cena month. Everybody knew it. You know, they came out and said, hey, you're getting this, and this right from the door. So everybody knew that it was a, you know, when they come out and say, hey, take all your Cena 6-star gold, it's a Cena month. And think about that. We didn't really have, we had hip hop Cena and then we had the Cena month. But prior to hip hop Cena, we didn't really have a Cena in a while.
Prior to hip hop Cena.
Prior to hip hop Cena would have been probably the revamp to Chain Gang.
Veteran Salute, yeah.
Or, okay, yeah. So I think that was the same month they did, maybe they did both. Because they did the revamp that nobody knew about. So,
Okay.
yeah. So that, you know, that wasn't a huge deal. What you're seeing now is it's going to be Austin. And next month, we're going to get another Austin something.
Let's just get another Triple H.
I mean,
Come on, we're due for an underwhelming Rock. I mean, it's been a year now.
Another underwhelming The Rock.
You're going to get, no, they're going to give you another Austin before you get a Rock. So I just think that this month is they did last month so well that this month just seems so underwhelming at this point.
Yeah.
That's the only part. That's the part that I think is what everybody's feeling. It's like, if they did this month prior to last month, people were like, oh my god, this is a great month.
Right. But you're already feeling like because of how good last month was that this one's just bad by
because
proxy.
of how good last month is, right? And you know, Envy will tell you, you have a great one-on-one, and you blast that yeet, and then the next month she comes in and she doesn't have makeup on. You're just like, well, damn, what happened?
I don't know why Envy has to be the one to tell me this, but I get you.
As long as it was an MPO situation, you're good.
Well, all right. So here's gonna be my thoughts on the MLC. Right. So the MLC so far, we're back to our MLC structure instead of our week-long structure. Right. I think everybody is unanimously on board that the week-long was better than the month-long, and I think there's nothing wrong with people enjoying the new stuff. Kept it fresh, kept people engaged. Totally good, totally fine, makes sense. The thing that I will say that I do like about this monthly, yeah, I know the characters aren't the best, but we do have the new prize wall that's better than what the old MLC prize walls used to be. It has shards of characters on it now compared to where it used to only be, you know, resources and very basic level things. So you can kind of customize what your MLC prize wall looks like. The straps that we do get are now classless, so you don't need to worry about getting a powerhouse modern strap. You just get a modern strap. So that's nice. And then the other thing I will say is this whole Stip Tour thing. I like the Stip Tour thing. The Stip Tour thing seems fun, keeps people engaged. I think it's interesting to kind of let people strategize for the first week. I don't know how well that's going to span past the first week, but I'm hopeful that it does span well past the first week. Not the stipulation tour stuff, but the engagement, I suppose, is what I'm looking to say. The characters are interesting, right? The characters as who they are, right? Like the Disciple and the Corporation and WCW Austin, they're weird. That's never been a thing for me personally, other than like when it comes to Eddie, right? Because I like Eddie. And I know, you know, like B-Rock said, you know, is Kevin Owens and Jey Uso and Dragon. Like some people have those characters that they really, really like. For me, Eddie is a character that I really, really like. And I was pretty heavily let down recently by the whole Eddie revamp. So for me, whatever. Characters are going to be characters. It depends on how good they are as a fighter. As a content creator, I've been able to test out all these characters as fighters, and I like them. I think that Disciple has huge upside. Very strong hitting freebie character. Might not be the best striker attitude character like we were just talking about. Hysterically enough, yeah, Austin needs essentially every bell and whistle under the sun, but if he has it, he's arguably top striker in the game or very close to it. And then there's Big Boss Man. Again, maybe I missed it with him, but for me, it just feels like he's 2025's version of the stun loop character. That's all. If you fight an acro or you fight a defensive, he will win on turn 1, and you don't need to do the whole stun loop. But if you don't fight an acro or a defensive, then yeah, you kind of loop maybe once, maybe twice if you really, really fight someone who's super strong with health and tier 6 medals, which is whatever, it's fine. Austin is ridiculous. His numbers are insane. He could hit close to a billion damage, like I was saying earlier in the podcast. He's also got a monster move damage set that can, clip close to 300 mil, or for those of you that don't love clicking buttons all that much, you can do 100 mil rather effortlessly with him, with a move damage set. So the characters themselves as fighters in the game are okay. I think Bossman is the worst of the bunch, but it's still doable and capable of being used. You're going to use him if there's ever a Bossman requirement. Brutus, if you don't have Hall of Fame Brutus, you'll absolutely use for the any beefcake requirement. Easy peasy. And Austin is... they moved him from an S plus to an S tier, but in reality he fights like an S plus tier. He's really, really, really good. I like that character. I think that was arguably the most fun that I had doing a preview ever since becoming a content creator. And that says a lot because I had a lot of fun testing out Hornswoggle. So he's good. He's good fun. I really enjoy the strength of the characters this month. As for who they are, I don't know, man. I don't really care all that much. But the monthly seems okay. It's a letdown, like B-Rock was saying, because it's coming on the heels of the weekly monthly. I guess that sounds weird to say, the weekly monthly, off of the Mania month. But it's okay altogether. The other thing that kind of I don't know how many people really touched on it. Not a lot from what I was hearing. Phenom Taker also got a revamp, right? And so Phenom Taker is an Attitude Era powerhouse, and Big Boss Man is an Attitude Era powerhouse. And it's very hit and miss when your free revamp character that practically anyone that's ever played the game has Phenom Undertaker on their account. And if you don't, you get him for free now just by playing the game this month. It's really weird when your freebie character is better than your A-tier chase character. And I could say that very effortlessly. Phenom Undertaker is better than Big Boss Man. That's a fact. If you have the bells and whistles for both of them, then Phenom Taker's better. And if you don't have the bells and whistles for either of them, then Big Boss Man is okay, but again, he's just a stun loop character. Taker can still get the job done. So I think that's where the hit and miss is for me, personally. I don't know, man. I don't see any real reason to be chasing Big Boss Man. You know you're going to just play into him just by the remainder of the month. Disciple's kind of cool. I like the idea that it doesn't really require a strong strap bonus, and people will just use him. And hopefully a lot of people get Austin out there because he's really, really fun. But monthly looks pretty okay to me so far. It's definitely, again, a step back from the weekly monthly. Again, that's so weird to say. But it looks okay. I can see why this month would be boring though for a lot of players. I definitely understand it. But yeah, that's my thoughts at least on our MLC, and we kind of talked about the characters there too. Anybody else on our new MLC or our characters before we move forward?
Yeah, can I get 2 quick points?
Absolutely, Sensei, go for it.
Okay. One, can someone explain what Scopely's newfound obsession with the Austin 316 card is?
I don't know, but I love it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying every single thing they've done, it seems like it's just how to make this card even better. I don't understand. It went from completely ignoring it for years to all of a sudden saying, we're just going to dump everything we can into this guy.
Yeah, I have zero clue as to why, but I absolutely love it. He's made it to the top of my roster. I've maxed him out, 6-star gold full. I've went out of my way to get every moment for him, every gear for him. I've got 150% Austin strap for him. Made sure to get a Leech anniversary plate for him. He's great. He is legitimately just so damn good. No idea why, and I'm not going to be the person to complain about it.
It's like they said, you know what? You like subs? Well, here's Austin 316 for you. You like one of those anniversary plates? Here's Austin 316 for you. You like different gears? There's some more for Austin 316 for you. Just whatever they just put in at the top. Which again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just bizarre. Kind of like how Scopely just finds certain cards and just makes them rare for no reason other than the fact they just want to make them rare. I don't understand some of the thinking that goes along there.
Yeah, I don't know. We're only just now seeing the reintroduction of Bronson Reed, hysterically enough, because he was one of those characters that was rare just for the sake of being rare.
Yeah. Okay. And my other point is, and it goes back to your point about the revamped Taker this month. I think one of the reasons I should say, why there hasn't been a lot of discussion about it is because he was one of those cards that most people probably had low, like maybe 3-star gold, 4-star bronze, somewhere in there. And now to get any use out of him, you got to bring him up. And I think it points to a bigger problem of there's just been way too much talent up. And I think a lot of people, myself included, are either becoming very shard for or token for. And I can't tell you how many cards I have that are stuck at like 5 gold or 6 bronze because I don't have tokens or shards or both to bring them up. And I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, so we're back in a resource crunch is what you're saying there.
Yeah, I just think it's like one of those scope. Remember how like it would like be like there was always something odd, like 3-star gold tokens everyone was short on to bring character. I think that's where we're back to this, some bottleneck of some sort where we're just short. And for me, it's either shards of certain classes and styles, whatever the hell it is, or emerald tokens. I just seem to be short on either one of those or both.
Interesting. Yeah, I know there was a while there where people were complaining about tokens. I know a long time ago people used to complain like it was nobody's business about 2-star silver tokens. That was the whole big deal, where people were farming out tours for glitzy robes, the trickster 2-star silver tokens. I remember doing that myself. And shards are always an interesting one, because either you have them because you spend or you don't because you don't. That's all there really is to it. And they're trying to make them more available, but I still don't think that they've gotten a good way of narrowing it down for everybody to get them instead of just the spenders to get them.
I think it just has to do with certain class and style combos. There's just not a lot of cards or a lot of shards available for those cards. It's like some, like if you look at the list, like you go through your list, and there's just millions and millions and millions of shards in one, and then the other one I have like 3 cards that have a total of 100 shards.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, when you say it like that, it's kind of rough, to be honest. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
That's what I mean. I think that's part of the reason why. Because for me, whatever Taker's class is, well, I know he's powerhouse, whatever his style is, I'm waiting to get each armory loot so I can bring him up with the shards that I get from the cards they give away. That's just what I'm waiting for. So I don't really know how powerful he is yet until I can get him there, and then of course we'll decide.
Well, I'm looking forward to using Taker. I honestly a little bit more than I am Boss Man. I like the revamp. I like the revamp because of a couple of moves. I still think even post revamp, it's actually fairly horrible compared to most revamps. Just in terms of how many moves are not usable on him still. Like a 9 NP move that makes like 3 blast gems is horrible. Or that breaks 3 blast gems is horrible. Like why the hell would I need that? That one's the weird one to me. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It seems like an interesting month so far, at least to me, at least on the surface. I guess I'm not as down on it as some are. But anything else on our new MLC? We talked about the structure and the characters. So if anyone else has anything else they want to talk about, we can talk about that now. Before we talk about a couple of other things, and I'm sure we'll actually hit the end fairly soon here. So going once, going twice. Sold. All right, sold to the next point on our list, which is going to be a little bit of a weird one. So Nurse Week, that was out of left field, huh? Kind of piggybacking on what Sensei was just talking about, how they're coming out with everything under the sun for Austin 316. It's Nurse Week, and I don't ever remember Scopely celebrating Nurse Week. Anyone out there can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, and then I'll own up to that. That's fine. Not saying that we should not celebrate nurses. I think it's fantastic that we did, and shout out to anyone that is a nurse or has a nurse in the family. Very appreciated or underappreciated in regards to what they actually do. But this one just seemed like it was out of left field, and like it was a cheap pop, so to speak, in wrestling terms. What the hell was that all about? Because we added a couple of nurse gears into the game. So Austin, the new one, and the 316 one both have new gears, and they're dressed up in scrubs. Am I the only one? I'm not gonna say like angry or annoyed, but weirded out by this. Did this just feel out of left field, that it was like, we need a reason to get these gears in game, and we're gonna just take advantage of it being Nurse Week, or what?
It definitely feels weird, like it came out of left field, like you said. It's like, I get it, and I know exactly what moment they're looking at in the history, where he hits Mr. Was it him that hit McMahon in the head with a bedpan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it does. It's kind of creepy. It's a little bit weird.
They didn't need to stretch so far to make the connection. They could have just gave us the gear whenever, and they could have said Happy Nurse Week
Right.
just as a thing, but they didn't actually have to put them together and say, "Hey, Happy Nurse Week, and here's this guy dressing up as a nurse twice. He has gear for it. We appreciate you."
Yeah, that was the thing, right? It almost felt like, and again, maybe this is a me thing, it almost feels like if I was a nurse, I would almost take this as like a disrespect type of thing. Like, really, this is what you did? Like, you finally mentioned us, and you just put 2 gears in the game that you were going to already put in the game. Like, just, I don't know. It just feels weird. It just feels weird.
Yeah, but not only that, and as someone whose wife is a nurse, and I know how she gets nuts when the whole doctor versus nurse thing up. He was a doctor in that skit. He wasn't even a nurse. They called him doctor.
Right. That too. B-Rock, thoughts on this one?
So I thought he did it twice. Did he do it twice? He did it once with McMahon and once with Booker T.
Did he?
Didn't he do the hospital gimmick twice? I know he did like the supermarket with Booker T. And I thought he did like a hospital with Booker T, but I know we all know he did the one with McMahon. It's Austin. What do y'all expect? What do you expect? It's a cash cow. This is what it is. I mean, anything to get Austin in is what we will see. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, hey, how can we? Everybody. There's not too many people I could think of that don't like Austin who are in wrestling. Okay, I don't think there's too many people who don't like him. So, you have a lot of people who love him. There are people who say he's the greatest ever. At the same time, when you take a look at it, it's, hey, can we get these people to spend money to get something else in regards to Austin? And I think that's the focus. So if we got to say Nurse Week, great. If we got to say, hey, this part of the podcast is sponsored by Steve Weiser's, will people buy? That type thing. So anything that that I believe we can promote for Austin turns into money for the company. So I think that's kind of where it comes from. And then it's like, hey, we need to get this Austin in there. Somebody think of something to tie it in.
I guess my whole thing is like, I don't mind that they want to sell me something, right? Like, I get that. Trust me, I think I get that better than a lot of the folks out there. But like, I didn't see any reason why it needed to be tied to Nurse Week. You could have literally just put like a GIF up, like I just did in the live chat, of Austin smacking the hell out of Vince and hitting him over the head with a bedpan, and you could have just left it at that and been like, "Here's your gear." I didn't see a reason for it to be like, "Hey, it's Nurse Week, y'all. We're sending appreciation to all our nurses out there. Here's an Austin gear." Like, it felt odd to me. Like, it felt really weird. It was like St. Patty's Day this past year. Was I happy that I got Hornswoggle? Of course. I love Hornswoggle. I think it's hysterical. Did I feel like it needed to be on St. Patty's Day? Like, no. We never had a real St. Patty's Day thing before. Like, there was going to be something special, and we all kind of knew it. And that was it. Chris, thoughts on this one? Doesn't have to be a long one. Just, that's why I was saying, like, these are kind of just quick little talking points, but just weird to me.
Oh, it was just a cash grab. Like, they wanted to get that gear out. They saw something they could tie it to, and that's what they did. That's all the whole Nurse Week was. It was just a cash grab to get these nurse gears out there.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. So I'm glad I'm not alone on that one. Anybody else on our Nurse Week comments?
On the positive side, it did get me to take my Austin 316 to 6-star gold, which was far too late. I waited far too long to do so. So at least that happened. So he's gold now.
There you go.
And he's got the gear.
Hell yeah, baby. Join the club. He's worth it. All right, moving right along. So, not only Nurse Week, but something else that I feel like is going to be a quick hitter point because I didn't even realize it was a thing. The R72 update notes. So, yeah, apparently there was another update in the game, which included some showdown fixes and a beginner's tutorial. There's a link in the on the blog for things to talk about here. I don't even know what to highlight here other than it looks like there was a UI update and a beginner's tutorial. But this is something that has happened in the game. Curious, does anybody have any thoughts on this whatsoever?
So this
Showdown.
is a moment I think everybody's just rushing to see what the hell you're talking about because didn't know.
I was gonna say I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
instead of
the one good thing is that now that there's a way to skip the tutorial for those who have ever had to delete and reinstall the app, that tutorial, oh boy, was painful. Now you can just skip right over it and save a lot of pain.
so here instead of linking the the blog in the chat here, because I'm sure not everyone's going to have a way to get to the link, I'm just going to go ahead and post a couple of screenshots from the recent blog that's going to showcase the beginner's tutorial and the showdown improvements, and I guess there was a bug changelog as well. But yeah, this one was weird to me because none of us, behind closed doors, I guess is what we could say, none of us were really told there was going to be an update that was coming out. And then when it did, it was like, okay, and? It just felt like it was out of left field, and I don't really know what entirely the reason was for it to be out of left field. But yeah, there's no longer there is a new beginner's tutorial that's teaching newer players how to play the game. And then on top of that, like Sensei just mentioned, you can skip said tutorial. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of at a loss. I feel like there was an entire update and nothing got changed. I don't know. Like, it's like, hey, we updated Showdown, and it's like, what did we update? You could see the notoriety bar now. Like, you could see the tag link graphic. The status penalty icon is a little bit larger. Like, I don't know, man. All I know is that it was a post, and I didn't want to skip it in case somebody wanted to talk about it or had something to talk about, because I know a lot of people love talking Showdown. And so here's your time, y'all, if you have anything to talk about this one. I have essentially nothing to say other than I didn't know.
Showdown Revenge screen is silver and red now, so it's a different color.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Did they actually fix the thing where it would show your opponent's incorrect moves? Did they fix that yet? I don't even know.
I think they did.
Somebody was commenting on that and then mentioned that it wasn't changed, so I have zero clue. But yeah, that I think is more the funny thing to me is there's still so much wrong with Showdown that the fact that these are the fixes that we're highlighting here today doesn't really make sense to me. I can go to the career Showdown and see what things look like, if it's any different. I mean, we still got the fancy big stars now, instead of actually seeing how many stars that people have. I mean, yeah, the notoriety thing is here, and the debuff thing is just, it's all the same, it's just a little bit larger on the screen. So, I don't know. That's where I'm leaving that one. So if y'all have stuff to say about it, by all means. But I'm definitely not got anything to talk about here. All right, going once, going twice. Sold. To no one having a damn thing to talk about the update about. That goes to show how wonderful of an update that was, that literally no one had a damn thing to say. Alright, on to our final point. It is the one last big time Feud weekend. It is the freaking weekend, y'all. It is Feud weekend. It is the big boss man weekend. What are the plans? What do we got going on for the weekend? What are we running for the lineups? We got our CSS structure is back in terms of every class and practically every era out there. So what are we feeling like running, y'all? What's everybody's thoughts on the weekend?
I've been kind of busy, so I have no idea. I didn't even look at it. I guess I will figure that out after the podcast. So if anybody wants to talk, strategy, go ahead. I'm listening.
So I guess I'll jump in here. I already have my game plan done. I did it last night, trying to help some of my faction mates. So all of that is set. My only concern is because I messaged Bob. I was like, "What's a good Orton?" I'm sitting here. I'm like, "What the hell is a good Orton?" And I'm looking to try to figure something out. And I'm like, and he's like, "Zombie Orton," and I'm like, "Don't have him. He's one of the 9 or 11 zombies that I'm missing." So I was like, "All right, well, we're not running that line." And then I had to look, and I said, "All right, I can probably do something with Apex Predator," but then realized that I spent all of my dusters on people during the talent up, so can't even take him up. So now I'm just like, all right, well, we're just not going to fill that line, and we're just going to kind of go from there.
So for me on that one, just FYI, B-Rock. And for those of you that are listening in on the podcast, most likely, because I don't upload this right away, you will have probably fought my lineup instead of are going to be fighting my lineup. I'm going to be running the Viper Randy Orton, the old school PG showboat Randy Orton. And that's going to catch a lot of people off guard because they're going to go, why the hell are you running that guy? Well, there's one specific reason I'm running that guy. He's got a 1 MP move that is a choose move, and I have a 100% gem defense strat for him. So it's going to be really funny when my 11k talent Showboat Orton from back in 2017, 2018 manages to beat people with a 1 MP move because they can't do any damage to him with all of his gem defense. I think that will be very funny.
I have one of those too. I now have a new mission.
So yeah, I figure why not? What's the worst that happens?
Yeah, I got some work to do.
Yeah, I'm looking at my lineup now. So I always try to start out with the CSS lineup out the gate. That's always kind of my go-to, Shell, to kind of answer your question in terms of like strategy and stuff. So for this one, I've got one Reality, New Gen, Hall of Fame, Legend, RA, and Attitude in the lineup. Um, and then one for each class other than Technician is what I'm looking at right now. And I'm going to have to see if I can find a way to get a Tech in the lineup. Haven't really looked at that just yet. But I've got the Special Edition Chain Gang Cena is my Ruthless Aggression character. He's in the Cena spot. I've got Devon. I'm bringing him out instead of Regal for the Reality era. Probably going to take him to gold because I have an extra Punk Gauntlets from the recent weekend. Using Powerhouse Hogan for Powerhouse and Legend. Using Dudinator Sammy for Showboat and New Gen. Using Hall of Fame JBL for Hall of Fame and Trickster. And then, of course, we were all talking about him, Austin 316 for Attitude Era and Striker. So, got all 5 of those eras, technically 6, and then all 5 classes other than Technician covered. So, probably going to have to find a way to get a Tech in the starting lineup. I just don't know where he's going to go. If I had Hip Hop Cena, he would go where the Cena is, where the Cena slot is, rather. And my Special Edition Ruthless Aggression Cena would go where Dudinator is. And then I'd end up just swapping out to whoever I want to use for Ruthless Aggression there. Because everything would be taken care of. But, yeah, it's a decent starting lineup for now. Anybody else for the Feud weekend? Thoughts on it? Plans for it? You going for any boss man loot pulls? You looking forward to this prize wall? I am, for what it's worth. I like this prize wall. Also, there are shards of Hip Hop Cena on here. There are shards of Queen Nia Jax on here. There's some affiliation straps roaming around too, but I'm not bothered about that. But the shards are kind of cool, especially for me. I also like the idea that there's another Tiffy plate on the wall. So that's kind of my thoughts on the weekend so far. I'm looking forward to it. Anybody else for our weekend? Because this will be our final talking point for the pod. Nobody wants to talk about the weekend.
Well, gonna just throw this out there because feuds are, for me, are my favorite part of the game, and I think that we talked about it before. 6 and 10 is still a little much in regards to it, because you got to use that same lineup. However, I think they did make a change now to where if you complete it, you automatically get past the gold chest on in regards to the rewards, which is good. If you just use all the CSC,
Yep.
so that's definitely a plus for that. So now you don't have to go over and above just the contest superstars. Then if you decide, then you can go for your 500 million if that's what you choose to.
Right.
So I think that little adjustment there is a plus. I will say that they did it during Backlash, so that's going to be interesting, because you may not get as many people that are playing while Backlash is on. So if they're going to keep doing that during I guess, what are they, PPEs now, or PLEs?
PLEs.
Yeah, if they're going to do that during PLEs, I think they should extend the time a little bit. Then I think that will give people time to, the real WWE people, enthusiasts, time to play.
I did have thoughts on this weekend, but someone's cat was caught in my crawl space, so they were ringing my doorbell, and I had to walk away, and they had to get cat out the crawl. But it was done now, so I'm back. So this weekend, I'm unleashing Middle lane Brutus Creed.
Oh,
It's gonna be a thing.
The Creed finally gets unleashed on Envy's account. Okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
no
let 'em
middle
go.
lane gender? Gender can't move lanes?
No, it's top lane gender. Top lane and top lane only.
Yeah, gender
So,
only belongs in
Envy.
one lane, obviously.
Yeah, Envy, I have a quick question.
What's that?
So you're saying that somebody rang your doorbell to find their pussy cat?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. So they run the front doorbell. I didn't answer. Then my camera wasn't working. So then they run the side doorbell. I didn't answer. The camera wasn't working. Then they looked like one of my friends that had a cat. So I was like, why would she bring the cats around my house? But whatever. So I go and look out and they're in their car and they're taking a while. And then they come with a note saying, hi, I think our cat is in your crawl space under your house. And they put the number on it. So but I mean, he was able to tell it to me personally. I said, how did that happen? Because the crawl space is closed. But it's like, yeah, I can hear it. I can hear the cat meowing. It was a weird situation. There was like a lot of cat noise. I never hear cat noise around my house. So I don't know if the cat was planted, or I don't know exactly how any of that happened. But it happened, so it's over now. Don't hear any cats anymore. So there's no pussy near me for at least another hour or so. So, yeah, here we are. Here we are.
What's happening in an hour, Envy?
Well, my wife might come home. She knows I'm podcasting until 1. That's...
Oh boy.
So we have no video footage of this because the camera wasn't working. So what you're saying is that you had a camera set up to catch you looking for the pussy
The cat. The
Where-
No, I
cat
wasn't
feeder.
looking. I wasn't looking at all. Somebody was looking for it here. They came to my door, and I couldn't see them on the for lack of better purpose ring camera. Couldn't see it. It wasn't working. It was malfunctioning.
Bob's still gonna edit this whole thing.
No, I'm leaving all this in. Y'all asked for it.
This is an NPO podcast. What do you think? This is LII production right here.
Yeah,
Leave it all in.
Envy was too busy LIIing the cat. All right, y'all. That's I
So,
think.
real fast, I'm able to get the 332% gem defense with that Orton.
There you go, Ed.
And then if I put the vintage glamour and that defensive ultimate plate for green, I can get another 160% for the first hit. Yeah, this is going to be fun.
There you go, Scott Steiner math up in the building with featuring Sensei Kreese. I love it. Well,
Stay away from the gorillas.
alrighty, y'all. That is going to be it for the podcast today. That is it for volume 17. So, appreciate y'all for showing up. B-Rock, thank you as always. Chris, the same to you as well. Sensei, appreciate you pulling up a chair. I'm stoked that you got to join us today. Even if it was a little here and there, a little hit and go is totally fine. Shell, as always, appreciate you. Envy, never stop being you. No matter what anybody says, just never stop.
I won't.
But that is it for this one, y'all. So until next time, everybody, have a good one.